Welcome to the Kiwimana Day. Hi there, this is episode 73 of Kiwimana's Beekeeping Podcast, New Zealand's #1 beekeeping podcast. And we are going to Ruston in Louisiana in the big old US of A and meeting Lauren Hoffman and Aaron Jennings from Jennings Apiaries.
Absolutely, and they are our executive producers on this show as well. So thanks to guys for all your support.
Yeah, that means that they are our patrons, and we're very happy to have them.
Absolutely, and welcome to the Kiwimana Buzz. My name is Gary. That's Margaret.
Yeah, hi.
And we are beekeepers from the hills of the Waiheke Ranges in West Auckland, and our podcast is about beekeeping, gardening, and political issues, and interviews with some great beekeepers from around the world.
Yes, and you'll enjoy this interview very much, and
Yep. You'll enjoy this very much, and the show notes for this podcast are kiwimana.bz/Jennings or kiwimana.co.nz/Jennings. Okay, and Aaron and Lauren are treatment-free beekeepers from Ruston in Louisiana, as Margaret said, and as well as selling natural products from their hives, they also run a great podcast called Bees and Such.
And also you will learn that this Lauren is not just any other woman.
No.
There are depths to her which brought her down to New Zealand, so you'll hear a little bit about that as well.
Exactly. Don't mess with the Hoff.
That's right. That's it.
And you will learn about why treatment-free beeswax is so important to them. And you learn about how Lauren fell in love with Aaron and his bees at the same time.
Awesome.
And you'll also learn about why you should always wear a zipper in your trousers.
That sounds interesting.
It is interesting, and it's quite funny.
I think you guys will really enjoy this. So, let's get on with it, Gary.
Let's get them on the line. Calling Louisiana.
How's it going?
Hey, good. How are you?
We're doing great.
Doing good.
Fantastic. You guys are from Ruston, eh?
It's just Ruston, but you're good. So just rust, like rusty metal.
I thought it was Ruston.
Sometimes we get creative and call it Cruston or Crust Vegas or Rust Vegas or all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
So is it a big place?
No, it's a small town. The population's like?
Northern Louisiana is pretty rural. So
yeah.
Around here, it is kind of big, but it's about, I think there's 20,000 permanent residents, and then there's a university here. So whenever the university's in, it can be 40,000 people.
Oh, okay. That's Louisiana Tech, is it?
Yep, that's it.
Oh, you got a McDonald's. That must be pretty big.
We have two.
We got two McDonald's.
Oh, cool. Oh, well, our town's west of Auckland. We have no McDonald's. But we're only...
That's okay with us.
Yeah, I don't go there anyway, so it doesn't matter. Well, we're about 20 minutes from a McDonald's. We really want to go there, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Well, you got a stadium there as well.
Oh yeah. We have a stadium at Tech.
Oh yeah, nice.
At the university, they have a stadium. There's been a lot of pro athletes come out of Ruston and out of Louisiana Tech, so they have pretty nice facilities, I think, for the size of it.
Oh yeah, it looks good. It doesn't look like a small town at all to me, guys. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we've given the Kiwimana audience a little overview, but take it from here, guys, and tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Aaron.
And I'm Lauren.
And together we run Jennings Apiaries. It's a small-scale commercial operation in northern Louisiana, and we sell honey. We sell skincare products and various other products that we make from wax and propolis. And we also sell nukes and hives to help people get started keeping bees.
Oh, that's fantastic. And how did you guys get started in beekeeping?
For me, I've been a massage therapist for about 10 years now. And I started looking into ways of making my own lotion because I became very aware of a lot of the chemicals that were being used in lotions. And I was rubbing it into people's skin. And so I started looking up different recipes for homemade lotions and found beeswax was a common ingredient in them. So I started researching beeswax and found out that a lot of the beeswax in the U.S. is contaminated with various chemicals and treatments, mostly that beekeepers are introducing into hives. And so I started calling around and looking for beekeepers that didn't use treatments, and I couldn't find any. So I figured if I can't find somebody else to do it, then I'll just have to do it myself. And I got one beehive and started from there, and immediately fell in love with bees.
Oh, fantastic. And how about you, Lauren? Did you just sort of follow what Aaron's doing, or?
Pretty much fell in love with Aaron and the bees all in one sit. So,
okay.
Yeah, I started getting into beekeeping whenever he invited me to come look at the hives and everything. So, and it's
a great pickup line.
Yeah.
It works.
Come back and look at my bees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you sort of met in a bee apiary somewhere.
Well, we met at a farmer's market.
That's right.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. Oh, that's great.
And he asked if I would be interested in coming to see the bees, and I was definitely interested. I really started learning about sustainable agriculture in college, and was just really attracted to that way of life, and wanted to hopefully like be able to practice those kind of things. And so when I met him, he was definitely like on the same page with me, and so the bees were a really just cool part of that, and I'm learning so much every single time I go out there. So,
it's fantastic, because I've been reading your blog, and it's really great work, guys. And I see you've been helping Aaron this year with the doing this. Oh, you're doing splits, weren't you? Was it last year?
That was this year. Yeah.
Oh, this year.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, we've been making a lot of splits, and she's helped me move a lot of beehives.
Yeah.
We had a pollination contract with a small organic blueberry farmer, and we moved 6 beehives out there to his place, and so she's well versed in the fun of moving
actually,
them.
I think that was what he asked me to do. The first time he got me out in the bees was to help him move like about 4 or 5 pretty big hives. And I'm pretty adventurous, so I was like, sure, yeah, I'd love to. And little did I know what I was getting myself into. But it worked out well. It was pretty fun, but
yeah, they can get pretty heavy, eh?
Yeah, these in particular, I was running all deeps, and so I had 3 deeps full of bees and honey that we had to move, and it was pretty heavy. But
that's tough in one lift, isn't it? Yeah. Do you use like a trolley or something, or do you just lift them off, or how do you do that?
Man Lake, which is a bee supply company in the States, they make a hive mover that it's like a folding stainless steel contraption that gets into the handles of the boxes, and then you can hold on to the bars, and it makes it a lot easier to move.
Yeah, we didn't get that till later, though. The first time, we were moving them by hand, just picking them up. But anyway.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea, yeah. Oh, you'll have to post some photos. We'll have to have a look at those. Sounds good.
Okay.
And so any of your family members are involved in beekeeping at all?
I had so on both sides of my family have some history with farmers, and it seems like back in the day, everybody, that was just a normal part of farm life and agriculture. So yeah, it seems like both sides of my families kept a hive or 2, but that was like normal, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah,
but that really wasn't passed down to me, like beekeeping practices or anything like that.
Yeah.
And then I have no family experience of beekeeping. It was a completely new thing to get into for me.
Yeah.
I grew up playing video games and reading sci-fi and being a real indoor kind of guy. So beekeeping has been great because it's really gotten me outdoors, and now I pay much more attention to the plants and to the weather, and the seasons, and so it's been really great. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, you suddenly notice a lot more when the plants are flowering, don't you? When you keep bees.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, do you guys have a funny beekeeping experience you'd like to share with the listeners?
Let's see. Hold on, I might have to think on that one for a second.
We can come back to that one. Yeah.
There's this one. He got stung in the face.
Oh,
like right in the forehead.
That's pretty funny.
I think I saw those photos. Is it on your blog? Quite a while ago,
I don't know if I I don't know if I put them on there or not, but I'll send you one if you want to see it.
Oh, it's something else.
Yeah, so I was doing a swarm call, and it was a swarm up in the peak of a eave of a house.
Yeah.
And I'm really not. I'm not afraid of heights. I'm afraid of falling.
Yeah.
And so I don't climb ladders very well. And so I had the ladder, and it was about 18 feet up, I think. And so I climbed and had to get all the way to the top of the ladder, holding like a nuke box, and I had a bee brush, and I had never really done this by myself before. So I looked up. I still had to kind of look up at the bees, and as I did, the veil was laying on my face, and I didn't even think about it. And when I brushed the bees down, they fell on my face, and one of them stung me. One of them stung me right in the forehead, like in between the eyes. I don't take Benadryl or take anything like that. I just was trying to see how my body was going to react to it. And at first it didn't do anything really. It made a little knot. But the next morning I woke up and both of my eyes were starting to close. And so then I took a series of photos throughout the day as my face swole. And it started off, I was smiling and I looked like I was having a good time. And then about midway, when my eyes really started to shut, you could just see it in my face, like I was not having fun anymore. And then I woke up the next morning and they were completely closed, and my head felt like it weighed 100 pounds.
Yeah, it's not fun, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then me and her when we were moving the beehives out to the blueberries, we actually got stuck. It was raining, and that's not it wasn't funny at the time, but looking back it's funny.
Yeah, it was like 1:00 in the morning it was like been so busy. The only time we could get to it was late that evening. And then it was raining, it was muddy. We had a trailer with bees on it. The trailer got stuck, so we tried to unhitch the trailer, move it by hand in the mud while it's raining, and then unload all these bees, and then try to get the truck out of the mud. And I'm up to my elbows, digging out mud out of the back tires. And we finally got out of it. But it was one of those experiences, like you said, it was tough, but it was kind of like an adventure, kind of fun, and we look back on it now and laugh. So
yeah, I know what you mean. It's not fun while you're doing it, eh? It's like the other week I got stung about 8 times on the face, and looking back it's hilarious, but during the time it was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so true. And so you see, you touched on you've been moving the hives. What kind of hives do you predominantly keep there? Because I know you're moving from Langstroth to top bars, or are you going to use long hives?
Kind of doing several things, I guess, just trying some stuff out. But so I have had Langstroth hives, mostly 10 frame deeps, and I'd let them get 3 deep tall and take honey out of the top third deep. And we've been foundationless, so we've been letting the bees just kind of draw their own comb and everything. And then the plan is now we're moving all of our honey and wax production over to top bar hives.
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun with top bar hives, and I've had a lot of good experiences with them, with the bees being relatively gentle and not hard to work with. It seems like less disturbing to me. And I like how easy it is to harvest the honey. Just walk by with a bucket and use the hive tool to cut the comb from the bar. I can put the bar right back, keep the bucket closed, move to the next hive, just keep going. And since we use a lot of wax, we like to get as much wax as we can from our hives, as well as the honey. And then we're going to continue to sell bees, treatment-free bees on foundationless combs. And since most people do have deep Langstroths, we're going to keep that equipment just to raise bees to sell to people. But most of our production stuff, I'm moving it towards top bar hives.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. And you also get the advantage you get fresh comb every year, don't you? So you can.
We do, yeah.
It's a lot
we
more
do.
pure.
And, yeah, I mean, two of my biggest influences were the first 2 interviews we got for our podcast, Les Crowder and Michael Bush. And I'm actually going to go see Les Crowder in Austin on May 31st. So I'm pretty excited about that. And they've been big influences, and I just think that for me the Top Bar it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, they are great, and they're great interviews, by the way. I really enjoyed both of those, so it's good.
Thanks. It's a bit dry listening to it. You know, like I need some music, which Lauren's working on, and try to add a little bit more personality to it, because I have a feeling right now it's very, if you like beekeeping, then it's something that's good to listen to. But if you were new to beekeeping or just kind of getting into it, it might be a little heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it was good. It was good. Yes,
well, thank you.
Yeah, because I mean they're big influences on you, Michael Bush and Les Crowder. So how important do you really think it is? This is more to Aaron. How important is it to have a full beard to be a good beekeeper?
You know, I don't know if it's necessary, but it's very helpful. You know, everybody recognizes, you know, me for the beard and a little bit for the tattoos, but mostly for the beard now. Yeah. And I think the bees, they like it. They fly into it all the time. Yeah. So they must like it.
So do they get stuck in it, or they just land on it?
No, they'll get stuck in it, and they'll usually sting me on the face because I'm trying to get them out. But yeah, for some odd reason, whenever I take my veil off, they go for my ears and for my beard.
Oh, okay.
That's where it's stung on the face mostly.
Oh, that's strange. So when you're sitting at home at night, do the bees crawl back out?
I haven't had that happen yet, but I did find a dead bee in my beard a day later. I have had that happen.
Oh, that's fantastic. No, that's good. Because you guys sell at the local markets, eh?
Yes.
So how important do you think it is that people actually do support local businesses and local beekeepers?
Well, I think it's very important. I mean, if you want to have local products available to you, then you're going to have to support your local farmers. And that's beekeepers, that's produce vendors, that's arts and craft people. I mean, we had kind of touched on this about people getting hung up over price or quality. And you generally will pay more at a farmer's market for something, but you get to talk to the person that made it, or you get to talk, you get to directly deal with those people, so you can know what you're getting is a better product, and it ends up being quality over quantity. And then if you don't like it, like our honey, for example, or even with the bees that I sell, I stay in touch with those people, and if they have a problem, it's easy to get, a hold of me, and we can talk about it. I'll replace it. I'll refund your money. It's more important to me for customers to be happy than like a big box store where, if you stop going there, that's okay because they have plenty of people going there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't need to worry about the individual customers, do they?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, because the thing is, all honey isn't the same, is it? It's raw honey is a lot different than stuff that comes from a can or, from a bottle somewhere, so.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I will say, like he was saying, one of the best things about farmers markets and local markets, you get to ask the farmer exactly how they grow their product and how, like they can ask us, like, what do you do to your hives? Are you treatment free? And they can even come see like our operation and be a part of it. So I feel like you gain an understanding of really like what you're getting. Like I said, versus like larger companies, you can't do that. So
yeah, no, absolutely, that's great. I think you guys are doing a great job there. I mean, we've been enjoying your pictures on the Instagram and stuff like that. It's been really good. Yeah,
thanks. And that's one of the things that Les Crowder touched on because, with my podcast, I'm trying to. For me, it's been difficult to. The business side has been much more difficult than the bee side. Like, I love the bees. I love working with the bees. I love learning about bees. That part for me is fun. It's been more challenging to figure out like the marketing side of it and the running a business part. So I've been trying to ask beekeepers who are successful, some tips how to be successful as a beekeeper. and how to make a living from it. And one of Les Crowder's pieces of advice was make yourself a presence at the market. Be there regularly so that people can get to know you. And it becomes about developing relationships with your customers instead of just how much money can I squeeze out of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, people buy from people they trust and like, eh? It's it's the old way of thinking, from in the old, before the big supermarkets were here and the big shops. That's how you dealt with things. You know the shopkeepers that were selling the stuff.
Right.
So I think it's good. It's a good way to go. I think that's the way the world's going. And Lauren's doing a great job marketing you guys. So it's awesome.
Yeah, she is. She takes care of all of that, all the product side and everything. Every time somebody says something about how good the branding is, we're really lucky. We have a good friend that's doing all of our branding and stuff for us.
Taking photographs for us, and
we actually have a short film that she's worked on a little bit.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
We haven't seen it yet, so I don't know how. I'm sure it's turning out great.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. She is so talented, Katie Tedeton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If that gets released before this comes out, we'll include that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so here's a question that we travel back in time now. Before you guys started beekeeping, what's one bit of advice you would give yourselves?
I can say one. I probably would tell myself to do some reading and really research, like Aaron has. And he wouldn't say this about himself, but he's so passionate about the bees. I mean, it seems like he has exhausted every resource to learn about them, and he just knows so much about them, just the biology and just history of beekeeping and different types of hives and different beekeepers. And so I would definitely give myself a piece of advice, or anybody else would be, to research that or anything else you're passionate about. Really learn what you're passionate about.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your favorite book, Lauren?
So I started the Les Crowder book, and I like that. I'm kind of notorious for not finishing books, but I really like this book that he found. It's called Putting It Up with Honey, and when was that?
The late 60s, I think.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's kind of an older book, but it has all of these recipes to substitute honey for sugar. And so it's just been a gold mine for me, because I love cooking and cooking with honey and stuff like that. So
cool.
That's probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah, that's the good thing about beekeeping is the books from the 1800s or even before that are still valuable, aren't they? And they're still got good ideas. And people think that everything's been invented now, but it's not. It's we're all going back to the same old methods, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Sometimes we're having to reinvent the wheel because we've forgotten things that they were aware of before.
Oh,
Michael Bush talks about chronological snobbery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's only good if it's invented in this century or something. Yeah, because I've been reading because I know you follow the Isaac Hopkins book, and I've been reading his book. It's quite good.
I've read what Michael Bush has on his site, which I think is the whole. Well, it's not the Australasian Bee Manual, not the whole thing, I don't think, but I read, about the Hopkins Method in particular and things like that. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no, because I didn't actually know who he was until I interviewed Michael Bush. It was quite surprising. And then I discovered he was like the head New Zealand beekeeper, so it was great. I learned something too from that was good. But it's a really good book. It's not that old. It's only the 1930s, and it's not like reading an old 15th century book and stuff. So, no, it's really good. Yeah. And how do you find that his method of queen rearing works for you guys?
I like it. I think after messing with it a little bit, I see our business moving more and more to selling bees and selling queens.
Yep.
And I think that for a larger scale operation, grafting just ends up making more sense. And that's why I guess most queen breeders graft, So I really like the Hopkins method. And I think if I wasn't trying to make a living at beekeeping, that's probably how I would go about it. But grafting, and a lot of this came from my interview with Michael Bush. He talked a lot about the benefits of grafting over graftless methods. and just how much more time efficient they are. And as I get more and more hives, I find I have to be more and more efficient with my time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know he touches a lot in his book about having to do less visits to sites and stuff.
Right.
Because if you've got to go there every day, it's not very efficient on your time, is it? Especially if that site's miles from your house.
Yeah. So I would think, if it was in the backyard and I was just trying to have like a dozen hives or so, I think that the Hopkins method, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I like doing it, but just for doing a profitable venture, I think that grafting just makes more sense for what we're trying to do.
And what sort of issues do you guys face beekeeping in Louisiana there?
Mostly, I would say that we run into, it gets hot and humid in the summer. So I know everybody you talk to from the U.S., it's always in Fahrenheit, and you try to like convert it to centigrade. I don't know what the centigrade is, but we have days well over 100 degrees with 100% humidity. It's real thick and muggy, and so it gets nice and hot. The bees seem to handle that better than I do because I'm running around in a bee suit trying to do stuff. But we have small hive beetles. That's something that, like at bee meetings and stuff, you hear a lot of people talking about, and I think that has to do with the fact that you can see them. They're real easy to identify. They're just very obvious.
Yeah, they're quite big, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like the size of a ladybug.
Yeah.
So we have those, and then we have, of course, Varroa. I haven't run into. We have wax moths, but they only seem to be a problem if you leave comb out and like leave it in a box and kind of keep it covered or in the shade a little bit, and don't have any bees in it. Then the wax moths will move in. Where we're at, we're lucky. We don't have a lot of commercial agriculture around, so we don't get exposed to a lot of chemicals or GMOs. Like they do over towards the Mississippi River.
There is a slight rise in the blackberry population in Louisiana, but it hasn't really affected our hives yet. So hopefully it won't expand too much to where it hurts us.
Yeah, because they eat the hives, don't they? Or wreck them.
Oh, man, they'll tear them up.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've seen photos and they rip them to pieces, don't they?
It's like a candy bar wrapper. They just tear them up and dig in.
Yeah, and apparently it's a myth that they like honey, eh? Apparently they like the brood. They eat the brood.
It's a great protein source.
Yeah. So Winnie the Pooh's actually not true.
Haven't encountered that yet. No.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I know a lot of people we've interviewed, they have electric fences around their hives and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or I've even seen one people and they have the hives on a stage. It's like a really high stage, about 6 feet high.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrible. Yeah, we don't deal with that here, so that's good. And so, how do you guys deal with the heat then? Do you, because you guys have ventilated jackets, does that help a lot?
She has a
vented suit.
Yeah, she has the vented suit. I haven't sprung for a vented suit for myself yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, because we use those here. They're quite good.
Yeah, and you just get up really early in the morning and you work when it's cooler, and then you take a break in the middle of the day, and then you work in the evening when it's cooler.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, in countries around the world that they have a siesta in the middle of the day, it makes so much sense because it's just so hot.
Siesta,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So that helps. Yeah, I find the ventilated suits helps because if there's a slight breeze, it just sort of helps. Keeps you a bit cooler, with the breeze flowing around you. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. I have just the jacket, the hooded jacket, and it's ventilated. And depending on what we're doing, I wear it. If we're really agitating the bees, I try to wear the full suit just because they'll usually sting my legs pretty good through my jeans or something like that. That's where I get my most stings. Yeah,
no, it's not fun. You think about jeans, usually tight around your legs, so they don't even. Yeah. It's not hard for them to sting through it. So yeah, I find the same. I find with the ventilated jackets, there's the 3 layers. They can't actually sting through it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's really good. Yeah, we sell them here, so they're really good value stuff. And so you guys are trying to expand your hives this year?
Yes, we have successfully been expanding our hives. So it's been the bigger problem has been getting enough equipment to house all the bees.
Yeah. Oh, is it just, you mean expensive it or just finding people to sell it?
Well, we've been building a lot of our own. I started paying a guy to start building it while I'm at work doing massages because, you got to make hay when the sun's shining. So right now the bees are really building up. It's like in the middle of spring for us, and the main nectar flow will be starting in the next couple of weeks. And so the bees are really building up. So I'm trying to take advantage of what nature's providing and make as many splits from that as possible. So I have a guy that I've started paying to take care of like building the equipment. And then this coming winter, I'll spend more time building equipment and being better prepared for next year. Yeah,
that's the thing. You got to. Winter's the preparation time, and summer's beekeeping. So I'm trying to do this season as well. So make everything in winter, and because you don't want to spend hot summer days in the workshop building stuff.
No, definitely not. And there's so much stuff to do with the bees right now that it's hard to find the time to build things. So, I find that the bees are multiplying faster than I can build stuff to house them. So it'd be good to have plenty of extra equipment just sitting around ready for bees to go into it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Especially when the swarming season starts, you just, go crazy. Because we pick up swarms around the city, and it's, we can do 8 or 9 a day some days, so it's crazy. So what's it like working as a message therapist? Is that quite physically demanding?
Yeah, it's pretty physically demanding, and then it can just be, I don't know. People tend to tell you a lot about what's going on with them.
Oh, okay.
So the therapist part of the title really starts coming in, and so you just sit there and you listen to people and talk with people, and I'm glad that I can do that. But sometimes at the end of the day, I'm just emotionally drained as well as being physically tired from it.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. Oh, it's good you come home to the bees, eh?
It is, yeah. That's one thing I love the bees. If I want to get away from people, I found that go out in the middle of the bee yard, and most people won't follow you. So
only the brave, like Lauren did.
Yeah, and I'm glad she did.
Yeah. Well, that's it. And do you tell your bees all your problems?
I do. I sit there and tell them all my problems so that somebody will listen about them. Lauren's pretty good at listening to them too.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what do you guys hope to expand to as far as hives capacities?
I started off the year, I had all these numbers, and I was like, okay, I'm going to hit 100 hives by this point, maybe 120 tops. And what I found is that instead of getting focused on the number of hives we have, it's better to focus on how healthy the hives we have are and just try to make the most bees we can, but still have them healthy and still be productive. Yeah. And so whatever that number ends up being, that'll be great. I think right now we're hovering around 70, but that's including nukes and stuff as well. So, I would say 40 of those are actually just 5-frame nukes.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good philosophy.
Yeah, it's definitely took a lot of pressure off of it, and it's been more just enjoyable for me because I don't have this looming deadline or this quota to reach. So anyway, it's definitely put back some of the enjoyment in it.
Oh no, that's awesome. Yeah, because you were just in New Zealand, weren't you, Lauren, last year?
Yeah. So I flew into Auckland, and we didn't really hang out there at all. Just almost immediately we flew down to Christchurch. And then, we actually went red stag hunting with my mom and dad, and saw a lot of beautiful country. And I'm sold. I'm going to get back over there as soon as possible.
Yeah, no, it is a beautiful country. That's it's great. We'll have to put that picture on the show notes for this one. It was a great one.
Great people. Y'all just seem to have a really great outlook on life. I'm sure there's like there are exceptions. Not everybody's like really happy and welcoming, but for the most part, everyone's so like nice and hospitable, and
I think that's true. I think most people are. I think the other thing is beekeepers are all quite generally laid back and happy, aren't they? A lot of them.
I hope so. Yeah,
we're good people.
Oh, I just saw you send some photos. I'll have a look at those later. No, it's good.
It's the ones of the bee sting on my head.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that is funny. Yeah, no, that is the worst place. I tell you what, the worst place to get stung is right on the end of the nose.
It is. Did you see have you read the article? I forget what college the guy was associated with. I want to say Ohio, somewhere in Ohio, where he stung himself on different areas of the body.
Oh, yes.
To kind of like subjectively say what was the most painful.
Yeah.
So,
and what did he determine?
The tip of the nose was the first most painful, and then the upper lip was the second, and then you'll probably want to beep this out, but the penis was the third. And
no naked beekeeping allowed then.
Yeah, definitely not. I actually, that's a funny story I just thought of. I got stung on the penis.
Yeah, was it painful?
Not fun.
No. I can imagine.
Yeah. You don't have to put this part in, but I'll just tell you.
Oh no, this is funny. This is kind of
or you can leave it in if you want to. That's up to you. Yeah. I'll leave that up to you. But so I was I forget what was I'd been moving beehives. It was nighttime. It was the first season that I'd been moving beehives, so I didn't always have everything prepared, and I didn't have the hive closed. And so as soon as we lifted it, the bees just boiled out of it. And so they were crawling all over me, crawling all over the other guy. They were stinging us. It was, not going well. Yeah. We get them loaded up in the truck. We finally get them closed. And I'm driving, and the pants I was wearing were button-closed pants, not zip-closed pants.
Yeah.
And so a couple of the
bees...
First
mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of the bees wandered in to my pants while I was driving and started stinging me.
Oh.
And so I think I probably swerved a little bit. I ended up going home and immediately got on Google and Googled bee sting on penis because it swole almost immediately. And I was really concerned. And so that's where I found that article about that guy talking about the different places he got stung.
If you asked what piece of advice we would give ourselves, and I think Aaron's would be always wear pants with a zipper.
Yeah, exactly. Or tape over the button ones.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the first person I've ever met that's done that. I've never heard of that before, so that's interesting.
Well, it's not all it's cracked up to be.
No, I can imagine. Yeah, well, I can testify the end of the nose. That's the worst place I've been stung.
Yeah, I haven't gotten stung on the nose yet. It's been, like I said, on the head. It's been the ear, in the beard, and on the forehead that one time.
I'm surprised they can sting you through a beard. I thought it'd be quite thick and they wouldn't be able to reach down to the skin. But
it's like as soon as they fly into it, they start burrowing.
Oh,
and they just they go all the way to the skin and then sting.
Yeah, because it's like when they get stuck in your hair, eh? Because I've had that before.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just sort of they freak out because they can't get out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be it. Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there trying to grab them with my fingers, and so I'm not doing anything to help it. And that's how I had the dead one in there. Is I just started like crunching the beard. To kill the bees in it, and the dead one came out the next day. I found her.
Yeah, I know it's not politically correct. The best thing to do is just to crush them. So next time that happens, Lauren, just slap them in the face. Really hard.
Yeah.
And that'll crush them and kill them. Please video
My
it
pleasure.
too. Yeah.
My pleasure. I'm kidding.
It is the best thing to do because, I mean, sometimes you try and get them out, but you just can't. And you can't see them either, can you? You know, you're not like in front of a mirror. No.
And they're always making that really, like...
Angry
buzz. I mean, that just like kind of buzz, you know?
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it, the angry buzz. It's like that one when you're just about to crush them, and they go zzz. Yeah, they warn you.
Yeah.
They do warn you. You know, we get that often because if you're walking by the hives, they're sometimes coming in and they've come in with a full load of nectar and they're just like, you know, half asleep or something. They just land in your hair all the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Well, it's been really enjoyable, guys, talking to me. It's been fantastic. So what's the best way of people to get hold of you and buy some of your lovely honey?
Probably the best thing to do is go to our website, which is JenningsApiaries.com. That's JenningsApiaries.com.
We'll have that in the show notes too. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And then, so our email is JenningsApiaries@gmail.com. Our Instagram is Jennings Apiaries. I try to keep it simple. So that's probably the best way. My phone number's on the website, contact information. We do ship, you were saying in the podcast we just listened to, asking if we shipped internationally. We would. We haven't had anybody order anything internationally yet, but we would definitely ship it.
I don't know, there were some regulations, but...
Yeah, I think you can't... Yeah, I know in New Zealand you can't import honey at all, so...
Maybe we could send you some like skincare stuff or...
Yeah, that might be all right.
Something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be okay. But I mean, there's other countries other than New Zealand, so yeah, if you're all out there, guys, support these guys. It's fantastic work. And get some honey out there. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah, because I did try and order stuff, but the only country in there was the United States. I thought, so
right.
You should really have United States and New Zealand.
Okay.
At least.
I will look into that.
It's okay. It's all good. Oh, well, thanks, guys, and thanks everyone for coming along today. And the show notes for this one will be kiwimana.co.nz/Jennings. That's JENNINGS. We'll see you later.
Good on you, mate.
It sounded more like Australian, Lauren.
Oh, no!
Good on you, mate.